Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the top stories of the hour. Public hearings of local levels limited to formalities. Citizens say their grievance is unheard, blame local representatives of ignoring good governance. 3 commercial banks reduce interest rates but still fail to boost loans. Concessional loans for entrepreneurship shrink further. South Korean ruling party leader Han Dong-hoon resigns, saying his position was untenable after dramatic decision to support impeachment of President Yoon. And it's the final match of the league round of Nepal Premier League. Sudur Pashchim chasing a victory target of 102 runs against Karnali. The results of the match to decide the playoff equation. Former mayor of Kathmandu metropolis, Prem Lal Singh, has passed away at the age of 88. He breathed his last at 1 a.m. this morning in his residence in Chaksibari, Thamel, Kathmandu. Late P.L. Singh was elected Kathmandu municipality mayor in the Nepalese year 2049. It was under his leadership that Kathmandu municipality was announced metropolis in the year 2052. The metropolis has announced a holiday to mourn his passing. Nepali Congress leader was also a parliamentarian. He was receiving treatment for stomach-related issues after an operation last year. He is survived by 1 brother and 2 sisters. 3 of the 20 commercial banks, Nepal Bank, Sanima and NIC Asia, have reduced their interest rates for the Nepalese month of Posh between mid-December to mid-January to encourage loans. 3 others have increased the rates, while 14 have maintained their rates as they are. However, there are no signs of loans increasing and the economy's revival. Last year, by the Nepalese month of Kartik, interest rates had increased by 9%. This year, in the same period, interest rates have increased by just around 5.1%. Loans to small-scale industries have decreased, but concessional loans have further gone down.
अहिले ब्याज दर घटिराखेको छ, कर्जा जानुपर्ने किन गएन भन्ने हिसाब किताबले गर्दा कर्जामा वृद्धि भएको छैन, ब्याज दर घटेको तुलनामा नम्बर 1। अर्को कर्जाको कम्पोजिसन संरचना हेर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। अब बैंकिङ सेक्टरबाट कर्जा उपयोग गर्ने खास गरी 2टा निकाय हुन्छ, एउटा सरकारी क्षेत्र, अर्को निजी क्षेत्र। यो दुईटैकै सरकारी क्षेत्र र निजी क्षेत्रले उपयोग गरेको बैंक कर्जा, जसलाई हामी कुल कर्जा डोमेस्टिक क्रेडिट भन्छौं, त्यो डोमेस्टिक क्रेडिट अघिल्लो वर्षको वृद्धि दर 9% थियो भने यो वर्ष 5% मा वृद्धि सीमित भएको छ।
Last year, loans to women industrialists, agriculture sector, Dalit community and entrepreneurs who applied for loans against their certificates stood at 193 billion rupees. This year, such loans have come down to 113. Meanwhile, margin lending has gone up by 19.6%, import financing by 22.1%, industrial loans by 3.1%, and loans for construction sector by 1.8%, which experts say is lower than expected. There is a provision for local levels to conduct a hearing once in every 4 months to address the problems of general public. However, very few of the local levels have conducted such hearings, and even when they do, the voices of the public are often unheard. Pakribas municipality of Dhankuta and Chulachuli of Chhathar Jorpati are 2 among the many local levels that have been holding such public hearings periodically, where locals raise questions on the local government's performance, achievements and financial records. They say local representatives have lacked seriousness towards good governance and accountability.
शिक्षाको क्षेत्रमा कुरा उठेको छ, स्वास्थ्यको क्षेत्रमा उठेको छ, विकास निर्माणका कुराहरुमा उठेको छ, प्रक्रियाहरुको विषयमा उठेको छ। काहीँ न काहीँ त्रुटि भयो, काहीँ न काहीँ समस्या भएर न उठ्यो र त्यो समस्याको समाधान गर्ने जिम्मेवार निकाय हामी हौं भनिसकेपछि यो यसले गर्ने, यसरी गर्ने, अब यो कुरा यति सम्ममा हामीले सम्पन्न गर्ने भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ उहाँहरुको हुँदैन।
अब अलिकति यसमा नबुझेको कि उहाँहरुले अझै केही बुझ्नै बाँकी छ कि हामीले गरेको सबै ठिकै छ, यसो एउटा फर्मुला यसको पूरा गरेर जाने हुन् भन्ने हिसाबले हो कि अलिकति त्यस्तो खालको मैले चाहिँ महसुस गरेको छु।
Most hearings across the country see issues of corruption, education, health, drinking water, irrigation, infrastructure development and human-wildlife conflict among others. General public also complain about non-responsive attitude of local representatives that they themselves elected.
जनतासँग हामी जो जहिले पनि जुनसुकै समय पनि आबद्धता हुनुपर्ने अवस्था आउँछ जनतालाई कुन कुरामा केमा कमी कमजोरी भएको छ र हामीले के गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने खालको एउटा जनगुनासो मात्रै होइन एउटा त्यो चाहिँ हामीलाई एउटा फिडब्याक पनि हो त्यो राम्रो पक्ष पनि हुन्छ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यो चाहिँ वर्षमा हाम्रो 3 चोटिको कार्यक्रम छ यो सार्वजनिक सुनवाई यो गर्दा अति उपयुक्त र हामीले पनि एउटा यसलाई चाहिँ फिडब्याकको रूपमा लिएको छौँ एउटा नलेजको रूपमा लिएको छौँ यो राम्रो र यो एकदमै सहज यो परिस्थिति पनि हुँदो रहेछ म त खुसी लाग्छ यो कुरा
Although the provision of holding public hearings intends to hold the local governments accountable, the lack of effectiveness so far has raised question on its relevance. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has criticized ministers, provincial and local governments and also his own party's representatives for failing to deliver works that bring concrete change for the general public. Premier Oli criticized local governments, including his party's representatives, for not following government and party directives. At a workshop, he expressed dissatisfaction and questioned over 300 leaders about their accountability and performance in leadership roles. UML officials and local representatives, meanwhile, criticized the leadership itself at the workshop, citing growing distrust and a lack of accountability among the top tiers. They argued that the party's central leadership, restrictive policies and legal hurdles are the main barriers preventing effective governance and outreach to the people. Premier Oli has failed to convene the National Coordination Council's meeting to clarify all 3 tiers of the government's jurisdictions, despite plans for a follow-up meeting last year. Party leaders are shifting blame to lower committees, risking the morale of hard-working representatives. Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what is your take on CPN-UML's party chair, KP Sharma Oli's intention to not have any questions raised against leadership? Your options are A, desire to be the supreme, B, a sign of an autocratic leadership, and C, to maintain discipline. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. It's time now for international update. The leader of the ruling party in South Korea, Han Dong-hun, said today that he is stepping down after President Yoon Suk-yeol got impeached in the second vote in parliament last week. Despite his party's, which is People Power Party, backlash over his calls for President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment, Han said in a televised press conference that he had no regrets in doing so. Han said that he would step down as the leader of the People Power Party. He further said that he sincerely apologizes to all the people who have suffered due to the emergency martial law incident. Han further said that he resigned as the party's Supreme Council collapsed with the resignation of its members, making it impossible for him to carry out his duties as the party leader. South Korea's parliament impeached President Yoon on Saturday after a motion was tabled by the opposition-led alliance over Yoon's short-lived martial law declaration earlier this month. The motion, which was the second to be tabled as the first one failed due to a boycott of vote by the ruling party, passed in the National Assembly in a 204 against 85 vote. President Yoon's impeachment means his powers and duties will remain suspended until a constitutional court decides upon whether to dismiss Yoon as the president or to restore his powers. The court has 180 days to decide upon the case. If Yoon loses the case in the Constitutional Court, a fresh election will be held within 60 days of the verdict. International news agencies say South Korea's Constitutional Court will begin reviewing the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his decision to declare martial law from today. Israel's government has approved a plan to encourage the expansion of settlements in the occupied Golan Heights. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the move was necessary because a new front had opened up on Israel's border with Syria after the fall of Assad regime to an Islamist-led rebel alliance. Netanyahu said he wanted to double the population of Golan Heights. The Times of Israel reported that the plan has also been approved by the Israeli cabinet. According to Times of Israel, 50,000 Israeli and Druze citizens are currently living in the area. Under the plan, Israel will invest $11 million in Golan Heights. Media reported that it will be spent on education, renewable energy and urban development. Golan Heights is located in the southwestern region of Syria. Netanyahu has made it clear that Israel will increase its influence in the area and make it prosperous by settling there. Israel partially occupied the Golan Heights in 1967 during the 6 Days War and completed occupying it in 1981. It is considered illegally occupied under international law. According to Netanyahu, he made the decision considering the current situation in Syria. Recently, after the fall of Assad regime in Syria, the Israeli army has launched continuous attacks to prevent the re-establishment of rebel groups. Meanwhile, Netanyahu spoke with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump about developments in Syria and a recent push to secure the release of Israeli and foreign hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. In addition, Netanyahu has made it clear to Trump that they have no plans to go to war with Syria regarding continuous attacks. He also has said that Israel has attacked due to potential threats from Syria. An Israeli airstrike hit a shelter housing displaced families in Khan Yunis in Gaza, killing at least 20 people, including women and children. Bodies were strewn over the damaged building, which served as a shelter for Palestinians displaced by the war, and it was still on fire as people searched for survivors and tried to move dead bodies. Throughout Gaza, Israeli strikes have killed at least 53 Palestinians, including a journalist and rescue workers, and the Israeli military said its air and ground forces in the north of the enclave killed dozens of militants and captured others. The war began when the Palestinian militant group Hamas stormed into Israel on October 7 last year, killing 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking more than 250 hostages back to Gaza, according to Israeli authorities. Israel then launched an air and land offensive that has killed almost 45,000 people, mostly civilians, according to authorities in the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. The campaign has displaced nearly the entire population and left much of the enclave in ruins. Russian officials said that Russian oil tanker carrying thousands of tons of oil products split apart during a heavy storm yesterday, spilling oil into the Kerch Strait, while another tanker was also in distress after sustaining damages. Russian investigators opened 2 criminal cases to look into possible safety violations after at least one person was killed when the 136-meter Volgoneft 212 tanker split in half with its bow sinking. Separate footage published by state media showed, with waves washing over its deck. Svetlana Radievna, head of Russia's natural resources watchdog Rospirodnadzor, said specialists were assessing the damage at the site of the incident, and Russia's Kommersant newspaper reported that Volgoneft 212 tanker was carrying about 4,300 tons of fuel oil. Officials said that the Russian-flagged vessel, built in 1969, was damaged and had run aground. Russian authorities are said to be investigating the incident. According to Russian outlet TASS, Russia has sent 2 rescue tugboats and a helicopter, along with 50 rescue workers, to deal with the incident. Meanwhile, President Vladimir Putin has ordered the formation of a task force led by Deputy Prime Minister Vitaly Savilev to address the incident. Zakir Hussain, one of the world's greatest tabla players, has died at the age of 73. His family said in a statement that the Indian classical music icon died of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a lung disease, at a hospital in San Francisco. Hussain was a 4-time Grammy Award winner and has received the Padma Vibhushan, India's second highest civilian award. Through his performances, he transformed the tabla into a globally loved solo instrument that was the star of the show. Tabla, a pair of drums used in North Indian classical music, was historically viewed as an accompaniment to the main performance. As news of Hussain's death broke, tributes have begun pouring in. Born in Mumbai in 1951, Hussain began training under his father, Ustad Ala Rakha Khan, a tabla maestro himself. Hussain performed his first concert when he was just 7 years old. That is all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 6 this evening. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.